Welcome, beautiful damsels. Not all those who wander are lost, but some are simply choosing a path too rare for others to follow. Sigma females are unlike any stereotype you've encountered. They're as elusive as shadows, impossible to label. And just when you think you've figured them out, they reveal yet another layer, one you never saw coming. Today, we're diving into the types of Sigma females who defy the rules, dance to their own tune, and let's be honest, might just make you question your understanding of what it means to be independent, driven, and truly self-reliant. These aren't the women who stand in the spotlight. They're the ones who make the spotlight irrelevant. And fair warning, these Sigma archetypes don't follow the playbook. They've tossed it out, rewritten their own, and are laughing at the rest of us trying to keep up. Each type is as complex as it is distinct, challenging every conventional idea of strength, resilience, and mystery. So buckle up. You're in for a suspense-filled journey through the rarest of rare personalities. Just be careful. By the end, you might find yourself questioning who's really in charge here, you or the Sigma. Number 1, the enigmatic healer. The enigmatic healer is the Sigma female who operates in a realm where sympathy takes a backseat to empowerment. She's not the kind of person who's going to pour you a cup of tea and say, there, while you wallow in your problems. No, her approach is far more revolutionary. She believes that true healing comes from within, and that the path to recovery often involves facing uncomfortable truths. This makes her something of a paradox. While she's healing others, she's often misunderstood. Many expect a gentle touch, but what they get is a fierce nudge toward self-awareness. When she encounters someone struggling, her instinct isn't to coddle, it's to challenge. She'll ask the hard questions that others avoid. Why do you think you're stuck? Or, what's really holding you back? She understands that the road to transformation isn't paved with soft words, but rather with the raw honesty that encourages people to dig deep. It's not about pity or indulgence. It's about awakening the dormant strength within each person. Her belief in others is unwavering, even if they can't yet see their own potential. This fierce push can feel daunting, but those who are willing to embrace the discomfort often find themselves blossoming in ways they never thought possible. Her healing method might not come with warm hugs and tear-soaked tissues, but it's profoundly effective. It's a bit like going to the gym. Nobody enjoys the pain of lifting weights, but the results are worth it. She might be the only person in your life willing to call you out on your excuses. And while it might sting at first, you'll soon realize that her intentions are rooted in a genuine desire for your growth. Her presence can be disconcerting for those seeking solace in sympathy, but for those ready to take charge of their lives, she's a beacon of hope. They may walk away feeling shaken at first, but they'll also be empowered, motivated to take the reins and become the best versions of themselves. The enigmatic healer inspires transformation, reminding us all that sometimes the fiercest love is the one that pushes us out of our comfort zones and into our true strength. Number 2, the spiritual nomad. The spiritual nomad is the Sigma female who has tossed aside society's roadmap and decided to explore life on her own terms. She's not interested in the conventional achievements or checking off boxes just because everyone else does. For her, life is a personal journey, a quest for meaning, and she'll follow wherever her curiosity takes her. While most people are busy climbing career ladders or chasing the latest trends, she's more likely to be meditating under a tree, pondering life's big questions, or diving into ancient wisdom for answers. She's the one who shows up at gatherings with a new perspective on reality and leaves people thinking, where did she come from? But don't mistake her detachment from the ordinary as aloofness or laziness. The spiritual nomad's approach is anything but passive. She's constantly growing, transforming, and testing the boundaries of her own beliefs. Her curiosity is unquenchable. She'll read books on mysticism, explore meditation techniques, study philosophies, and embrace practices most wouldn't even understand. This isn't just a passing interest. She's committed to a life of inner exploration, and she'll gladly choose enlightenment over the right career or relationship any day. What's truly intriguing about the spiritual nomad is that while she doesn't reject people, she rarely needs them to validate her journey. She might be the friend who disappears for months, reappears with some wild insight, then slips away again. Her detachment isn't personal, It's just that she's off chasing something beyond what most people even consider. She has no patience for superficial bonds or shallow conversations, preferring the deep, uncharted waters of the soul. Some might call her eccentric. She'd just call it freedom. And honestly, she's probably the only one who isn't secretly exhausted by the chase for something more. For her, the journey itself is the destination. Number 3, the quiet strategist. The quiet strategist is the type of Sigma female who has perfected the art of blending into the background, yet somehow manages to control the entire game without anyone realizing it. She's the person who's in every room, but you never quite notice her until she's made a move that leaves everyone stunned. She doesn't crave attention, doesn't flash her achievements, and she absolutely isn't the loudest voice in the room. But make no mistake, she's watching, analyzing, and picking up on every detail that others miss. In a world where people can't seem to stop talking, the quiet strategist is a breath of fresh air, and frankly, she knows silence is her biggest power play. People think they're in control around her because she keeps her cards close, barely ever giving away what she's actually thinking. But in reality, she's already 3 moves ahead. She's so good at reading people that it's almost unnerving. Ask her to describe a situation or a person and she'll do it so accurately you'd think she's psychic. But she's not. It's just years of honing her craft of observing quietly, gathering every bit of information and using it only when it benefits her. What makes her even more powerful is her patience. She isn't in a rush to prove anything to anyone. She waits, strategically, for the right moment to make a move, usually when no one's paying attention. And when she does act, it's always so precise that people don't even realize what happened until it's over. It's this calm, calculating nature that makes the quiet strategist one of the most intriguing types of Sigma females. She doesn't need to flaunt her intelligence or strength. It's always there, waiting beneath the surface, ready to surprise anyone who underestimated her. Number 4, the bold realist. The bold realist is the Sigma female who has no interest in sugarcoating life. She sees things exactly as they are, cuts through illusions, and says what most people are too afraid to admit. If you're looking for comforting words, keep moving. She's not the friend who's going to pat you on the back and tell you everything's fine when it clearly isn't. Her honesty can be a shock to the system, but it's refreshing and rare in a world where everyone's tiptoeing around the truth. This Sigma type is fiercely direct, and that doesn't mean she's reckless with her words. She's just unflinchingly honest. When she talks, it's as if she's pulled back the curtain to reveal what's really going on. She has a knack for noticing what's beneath the surface, spotting contradictions, and calling things out in a way that leaves people speechless. She doesn't do this to be mean. It's just her way of keeping things real. The truth, after all, is her language, and while some may see her bluntness as intimidating, those who understand her value it deeply. They know she's the person to turn to when they need a dose of reality without the extra fluff. But don't mistake her realism for negativity. It's more like a grounded optimism. She sees the flaws and imperfections of life, but that's exactly why she appreciates what's genuine and worth pursuing. She won't sell you a dream. Instead, she'll show you what's achievable, and that's infinitely more valuable. While everyone else is busy living in their curated bubbles, the bold realist is out there, embracing the messy truth of it all. She has 0 time for fakeness, 0 patience for pretense, and a 0 tolerance policy for nonsense. And honestly, life's a lot simpler and way more interesting that way. Number 5, the artistic rebel. The artistic rebel is a Sigma female who takes a rather unconventional approach to challenging norms. She doesn't wave a protest sign or shout from the rooftops. Instead, she wields her creativity like a magic wand. Whether she's strumming a guitar, painting a mural, or spinning a captivating tale, her artistry is her rebellion. Her work isn't about pandering to the masses or fitting into neat little boxes. It's a raw, unfiltered expression that's all about authenticity. Imagine walking into a gallery where the walls are splashed with colors that make your eyes do a double take, or listening to a song that feels like it was pulled straight from the depths of the soul. That's her style. The artistic rebel crafts pieces that resonate with those who can see beyond the superficial, filtering out the noise and tapping into something real and profound. She might wear paint-streaked overalls instead of designer clothes and scribble poems on napkins instead of using fancy journals. But that's just part of her charm. There's a certain kind of magic in the way she embraces imperfection and turns it into art. While others are busy chasing trends, she's busy creating her own, and trust me, it's often a wild ride. Her creations may not always make sense to everyone, and that's okay. After all, who wants to be just another cog in the wheel? So, if you find yourself captivated by the strange, the beautiful, or the downright bizarre, you might just be in the presence of an artistic rebel. Just be prepared to expand your horizons. She'll have you questioning everything you thought you knew about art, life, and maybe even yourself. Number 6, the lone protector. The lone protector is the Sigma female who doesn't need anyone to stand up for her, or for those she cares about. She's fiercely loyal to a select few, and when it comes to defending her circle, she has no problem stepping up quietly but powerfully. She doesn't wear her loyalty on her sleeve for everyone to see, nor does she go around announcing who she'll defend. But make no mistake, if you cross someone she cares about, you'll find yourself dealing with someone who knows how to stand her ground and make an impact without saying much. This type doesn't need loud threats or big displays to get her message across. She has a presence that says it all. It's the way she looks at you, the calm steadiness in her voice, the kind of silence that makes people realize they've overstepped without her needing to raise her voice. She won't jump into every conflict. She's too selective for that. But if she believes a line has been crossed, she won't hesitate. People tend to underestimate her because she's usually low-key and keeps to herself, but once they experience her quiet strength, they're not likely to forget it. Her protective nature isn't about possessiveness or control. It's about having her people's backs without question. And while she's not openly sentimental, her actions speak volumes. She's the friend who'll show up when no one else does, the family member who stands by you through the tough times, and the colleague who'll go to bat for you without expecting a thing in return. Her loyalty is like a force field, silent but powerful, and anyone lucky enough to be inside it knows they're genuinely protected. The lone protector might be low profile, but when it comes to those she cares about, she's all in, and she's not going anywhere. Number 7, the intellectual challenger maverick. The intellectual challenger is that Sigma female who approaches life like it's one giant debate club, and she's not afraid to throw down the gauntlet. She thrives on questioning everything, from the latest social trends to deeply held beliefs, and her thirst for knowledge is unquenchable. She walks into conversations with the confidence of someone who's done her homework, and then some. Forget about the small talk. She's the one asking the big questions that make people squirm a little. Why do we do things this way? Or, have you ever thought about it from this angle? Are just warm-ups for her. Her unapologetic intelligence can feel intimidating to some, especially those who prefer to skate by with surface-level chats about the weather or the latest Netflix series. The intellectual challenger doesn't have time for that fluff. She's here to dig deep, challenge assumptions, and shake things up a bit. Some may view her as confrontational, but in her mind, she's merely fostering growth and encouraging others to think critically. If you can't handle being questioned, you might want to steer clear of her. She has little patience for ignorance and won't hesitate to call out faulty logic. What's entertaining is that she does this with a sense of humor that makes her challenging nature more approachable. She's not out to belittle anyone. Instead, she wants to stimulate discussion and make people laugh while they think. So when she launches a probing question, it often comes wrapped in wit that disarms people. You might find yourself defending your opinion while also laughing at how absurd it is when you really think about it. At the end of the day, the intellectual challenger isn't just about winning debates. She's about expanding horizons and making connections that are far more meaningful than any superficial chat could offer. If you can keep up with her, you're in for some truly thought-provoking conversations, but be prepared to have your beliefs put to the test. After all, that's where the real fun begins. Number 8. The silent force. The silent force is that Sigma female who can say more with a look than most people manage in a half-hour speech. She's the one who can sit in a room without saying a word, yet somehow everyone's tuned into her, wondering what she's thinking. She has this aura that makes people think twice before saying something foolish around her. It's not that she's judging them, she's just observing, and somehow that's scarier. Her power lies in the way she holds herself. She doesn't need loud words or big gestures to make her presence known. When she does speak, it's brief and straight to the point, like she's not about to waste her breath on fluff. And that's part of her charm. The less she says, the more people lean in, almost as if waiting for some sage wisdom to drop. It's hilarious to watch, everyone suddenly acting like they're in a TED Talk when she's around, trying not to say anything too dumb. What's truly funny is that she's often not doing this on purpose. The silent force just genuinely enjoys her own quiet, her own thoughts, and her space. People might assume she's mysterious or plotting something grand, but most of the time she's simply chilling, observing the scene and inwardly chuckling at how much fuss her silence can cause. She may be quiet, but you can bet no one ever forgets she's there. Number 9. The Intuitive Strategist. The Intuitive Strategist is the Sigma female who navigates life with an instinctual flair that leaves everyone else scratching their heads. While most people rely heavily on spreadsheets, statistics, or well-laid plans, she operates on a different level, one that feels almost supernatural. Her intuition is like a finely tuned radar, picking up signals and vibes that others simply can't detect. When she enters a room, it's as if she can sense the energy, the unspoken dynamics, and the underlying motivations of those around her. This uncanny ability allows her to make decisions that often leave others baffled because they don't follow the usual logical paths. Her choices might seem impulsive at first glance, but there's a profound depth to her decision-making process that's rooted in instinct rather than cold, hard facts. She'll often choose to follow her gut when everyone else is glued to their plans. And remarkably, she tends to hit the mark with incredible accuracy. It's like watching a chess master at work while everyone else is still figuring out the rules. Her moves seem calculated, but they're really the result of a deep understanding of her environment and the people in it. People around her may feel confused or even frustrated, wondering how she arrived at a conclusion that defies the logic they've been taught. It's almost comical to witness. They pull out their charts and graphs, ready to explain why her path makes no sense, while she simply smiles knowingly, feeling secure in her decision. Her approach makes her a bit of a wild card, which can be thrilling for those who are open to adventure, but unnerving for those who cling to predictability. What truly sets her apart is that she isn't swayed by the conventional wisdom that governs so many lives. Instead, she embraces uncertainty, trusting her instincts to guide her. It's a refreshing perspective in a world filled with rigid structures and predetermined outcomes. For her, life is a dance of intuition and spontaneity, and those who can appreciate this dynamic will find themselves inspired to step out of their own rigid patterns and embrace the unexpected alongside her. Number 10. The Self-Sufficient Survivor. The self-sufficient survivor is the Sigma female who could write a survival manual based purely on her own life. She's been through things most people wouldn't handle, and she came out the other side stronger, sharper, and somehow even more independent. While others may panic in a crisis, she barely flinches. She's already analyzing the situation, calculating her next move, and preparing for the worst, all without breaking a sweat. This isn't the type to lean on anyone lightly. She's her own support system, cheerleader, and strategist, all rolled into one. Her self-sufficiency isn't just a skill, it's a mindset. She's not someone who depends on external validation or needs others to tell her she's on the right path. The self-sufficient survivor relies on her instincts, her own judgment, and her inner strength, which have gotten her through every challenge so far. This makes her a bit of an enigma to others, especially those who crave approval or can't handle solitude. Being around her can be intimidating because she embodies a level of independence that's both admirable and, let's face it, a little unsettling to those who aren't quite as secure in themselves. What's funny is that she's not trying to make anyone uncomfortable. It's just that her self-reliance naturally highlights others' insecurities. She's like the person who shows up to a group project, quietly finishes her part on day one and leaves everyone else scrambling to keep up. People may think she's distant or too cool, but the truth is she's just learned that the one person she can count on is herself. And honestly, who needs the extra drama? She's perfectly fine on her own, thanks. No approval, hand-holding, or safety net required. So there you have it, the different types of Sigma females, each a unique force of nature in her own right. From the silent force who commands respect with her quiet strength, to the intellectual challenger who makes you rethink everything you thought you knew, to the intuitive strategist whose gut instincts lead her to incredible insights, each type embodies a distinct flavor of independence and resilience. And let's not forget the self-sufficient survivor and the enigmatic healer, who both navigate life with a fierce tenacity that inspires others to rise to their own challenges. Now, here's where the fun begins. Which of these Sigma types resonates with you the most? Are you the kind of person who embraces silence as your superpower, or do you thrive on challenging the status quo? Maybe you find yourself intuitively navigating through life's twists and turns, or like the enigmatic healer, pushing others to discover their true potential. Or perhaps you see bits of yourself in all of them. Whatever the case, there's no denying that each Sigma female brings something extraordinary to the table. So, spill the tea. Which one, or all, of these dynamic personalities feels like your spirit animal? Let's celebrate the unique Sigma energies out there, because being you is the best thing you can be. If you enjoyed diving into the world of Sigma females and found yourself connecting with any of these incredible archetypes, why not join our community? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest content. By subscribing, you're not just following a channel, you're celebrating your unique power and individuality with us. So come on, let's explore this journey together. Subscribe now, and let's keep the fun and inspiration rolling. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye and stay blessed.